A happy ending to an early morning Amber Alert after a little girl is found safe. San Antonio police say a mother accused of kidnapping her daughter is now in custody facing criminal charges. Eyewitness News reporter Erica Zucco is live at Public Safety Headquarters to explain why. Erica?
Well, Aaron, we have new information at 6 o'clock. Sources tell us that a friend convinced Gabriela Lucio to turn herself into police. And we were there earlier today at a Northeast San Antonio apartment complex minutes after they did take her into custody. And we were also there as they took her into custody here at SAPD headquarters. And we asked her a lot of questions about why she took her daughter, how her daughter's doing, and if there's anything she'd like to say to the community. And SAPD says that they're charging her with parental kidnapping because she did not have custody of her daughter at the time that she took her. Now, I kind of want to walk you through what police have told us about what happened. They believe that last night around 9:30 or a little before that, Gabriela climbed through her daughter's window at her grandmother's home. She climbed in and she tried to take her daughter.
When the grandmother realized that the mother was trying to take the little girl, they struggled. The grandmother was knocked down. The mother of the child left with her.
And sources say that SAPD and U.S. Marshals were able to take her into custody without any incident. That was over at an apartment complex near Starcrest and 410. Now, at this point, we do know that she is going to be charged again with parental kidnapping. Her daughter, 3-year-old Zanyah, is okay, and police say that she is getting checked out by CPS. Live at SAPD headquarters, Erica Zucco, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.